What's up, guys? It's Amon-Rellik the God Slayer. You're in another video here for First Descendant. Today will be technically the beginning of the tutorial series, but I wanted this first video to be an official stance on how I view this game. I've played this game now for 85 hours. I am Mastery rank 13.
The Vulgus can't see me.
I have
Why?
three of
Iced in their blood.
four characters. Three of them are all level 40. I have max proficiency with, I believe, two of the first few guns that you get of the ultimate guns, and I am currently story-wise, I'm currently near the final two areas. I got two more areas to clear out of White Knight Gulch before I end up in the finishing out the rest of the story, and then of course doing the into the hard mode. So that's to give you a little bit of a background as to the fact that I haven't just started this game, played for an hour, and then jumped on the bandwagon of anger and hate that I have seen about this game. Instead, I want to give a measured but honest approach to this game. First, I'm gonna preface this by saying two statements can be very different and be true at the exact same time. I'm going to make two statements about this game. Both are very different from each other, but both are also absolutely true. This game is decent and can be very fun at times. But this game is also highly predatory and lacks enough in its moral implications that it makes you question the purpose of the game's existence. Now, going into that word purpose. Games, at least in my opinion, exist on three pillars. The purpose, why the game exists in the first place, why was it made? The experience, and then its monetization. Three pillars. The purpose pillar, even though I named it first, is usually defined by the combination of the experience pillar and the monetization pillar. So what we'll do is we'll go through these three pillars, and I won't spend an absorbent amount of time on them, but I do want to go through them so that we can answer that final question, the game's purpose. Because games only serve two purposes. They're either made for they're either made for the entertainment and artistry, or they're made for the money, for the profit. There's only two reasons why they're made. For the most part, that's usually the only reasons why anything's created by human beings. It's either by artistic expression, which goes into entertainment, because entertainment and art are inexorably linked, or they're made for some sort of profit. So first, experience. Now, in the experience category, we're going to look at some things inside of here. The gameplay. Then we're going to look at, because these things make up the experience. Gameplay, the rewards, and then the grind. And when I mean grind, I don't mean the specific grind of the game itself, but like, for instance, if you play Elden Ring, You know, taking down a boss could be a couple of tries. You might fight this boss 5 or 10 times before you kill him. That's considered a grind. Anything that you have to do repeatedly in order to succeed at something is like a grind. So we're going to look at these 3 things. Now, gameplay. Gameplay wise, this game is very slick. It's very smooth. There's some things to be desired in terms of like its presentation is almost AAA, you know, but like there's some jankiness in some of the animations, and then like they could have done a little bit. They could have had the voice actors try a little harder in certain areas, but then in other areas, voice acting has been like great. But like shooting is okay. Guns could have a little bit more impact, but for the most part, shooting is quite serviceable. And the only real hiccups I have in terms of this game, and I'm running on an i9 Intel processor with a 2080 Ti RTX, a 2080 Ti RTX with 64 gigs of RAM. Like, my computer cost me almost $5,000. The only real problems I have with this game is I have to click the start button on my menu in Steam. Because I play on Steam. I have to like click my start button multiple times because the game will go to the initializing part and then it'll go away and it'll like reset to nothing, and then I'll have to re-click the play button and it'll go back to initialize and then it'll cut back off. That's the only thing I'm having a problem with. It usually says it's not creating a 32 file or something like that. It said that it couldn't create that. So that's my only real technical hiccup. But generally speaking, I only have to do that like 3 or 4 times, and then the game will finally kick in and boot itself in. So gameplay is decent. You know, the gameplay is decent. Needs a little bit more polish, but it's decent. Rewards. In this game, rewards, or in any kind of looter shooter, the rewards would be, especially the one like this is based on heroes, would be getting the heroes themselves, getting the weapons. Those are your, you know, and getting the modules and mods, because this game plays like Warframe in terms of like mods and things of that nature. Upgrading the power of these things, you know, these are the things that are considered rewards. These are the rewards you're aiming for. And for those, as copy and paste as some of this can look, they're okay for what they are. When it comes to the grind, however, the grind in this game is insidious. Not because the grind is difficult, because the grind isn't difficult. See, Elden Ring's grind is a difficult grind. When you come across that boss is genuinely a difficult task to overcome. The grind in this game is not difficult. It is monotonous. And it is hard for me to justify, it's hard for me to look past the monotony because of the later pillar. The grind in this game is a doable grind in the fact that it is easy, or I'll say it's manageable in terms of its difficulty, but it is rough because of its monotony. And its monotonous aspect is by design. I believe it is by design. And when you make a game purposely monotonous, you are destroying any form of trust that I have in you as the developer, because you're trying to make me angry. You're trying to make me impatient. And when you try to bring negative emotions out of me that aren't based on story beats or anything like that, I could see if you were trying to make me hate a character in the story because it has story implications for me to dislike that character. But you're trying to make me hate the actual action of playing the game. And it's all to drive me to this next pillar, the monetization. Again, the main rewards of this game are, of course, Descendants, mods, weapons. These are the three main like rewards in the game. Descendants, mods, and weapons. We need to go over here because I need to show it to you so that you can understand the full gravity of what I'm about to get into. First and foremost, let me just go ahead and know this argument right here in the bud. I didn't ask for this game to be free to play. None of us asked for this game to be free to play. Nexon chose to make this game free to play. They chose the monetization model they chose. We didn't ask for them to do it. So any kind of BS they put in the game in order to make this monetization possible is not something that I have to just accept and deal with. I have the ability to be mad about it, or I have the ability to not like it and be displeased about it because I didn't ask for it. This is what they chose to force upon us when they decided to make the game this way. So, no, I don't give them a pass on what they choose to do monetarily wise simply because they made it free to play. I don't care about that because I didn't ask that. I could have very well paid $39.99 for a full game and been fine with that. But they chose this. They chose this. And there's a reason why they chose this.
If it's new research, I'm listening.
This is going to be basically where all of your true power is gotten. Again, all your true rewards in the game are going to come from this girl. Because this is where you have to craft all of the strongest weapons. All of the Descendants are crafted here. All of your biggest, like all of your best stuff, like catalysts and analyzers and all these different things that boost your power are going to come from here. They're going to come from here. Now, you might get mods out in the field, yeah, but mods are incremental in terms of your power. This is going to like literally change the way you play the game depending on what you're able to craft. So, first and foremost, I'm going to have another statement. This statement is going to probably be a little polarizing, but this is my statement and I stick by it. This is another one of those times in which two things I'm going to say are very different, but they are both also true. If you bought the ridiculous $80 bunny pack, which gave you merely an incremental power boost in the fact that she is a little bit different of she's a little bit more powerful than the average bunny, than the normal bunny. And she shows off a variable amount of skin. If you spent $80 for that, because that's really all you bought when you bought that, you have made an intelligent move to skip past the tedium of the grind to get her. That is a true statement. You have made a smart move to get past the tedium of the grind. But this is also a true statement. You are a fool for doing so as well. Because you lack the ability to see beyond the instantaneous gratification, and you lack the ability to see the full scope, the bigger picture. Whenever you see scummy game practices being done, it's this skin and people who buy this skin that become part of that problem. This is the reason why you buying this skin is the reason why this skin exists. It's the reason why it exists. And not just exists, but exists in this form. Now, what I mean by this form is I mean in the cash shop. The reason why it exists like this is because they know there are people who will buy it. Most of our current gaming woes when it comes to like the problems we have with modern games, most of those problems are sustained by whales. Most of them are, they're not created by whales, but they are sustained by whales. And while I don't have a personal problem with anybody who chose to buy this, please understand that it's not the flex you think it is. You know, it's not the flex you think it is. And at the same time, it's not the smart decision that you think it is. You know, and again, nobody has the right to tell you how to spend your money. But at the same time, I would like to believe that most people do look at their money as a resource in which they need to continue living a comfortable life. And while you could say, well, it's comfort for me to not have to worry about waiting a day and 12 hours in order to craft this, but well, more than that, because it's going to take you longer than that to actually grind the parts. But you might think that it's comfortable for you to do that. But what people don't understand is that your buying habits decides the market. The buying habits of the customer decides the way the market works. The reason why this skin exists is because people whale it, because whales exist. So yes, you know, the reason why these games have these kind of monetization practices is because they know there is a subset of people who will pay for it. And that subset of people, even if it isn't the majority, that subset of people have enough money and buying power to sustain a game or to sustain a service that is being predatory. Because at the end of the day, if they can get, when the bunny skin is $80, if they can get 100 people to do it, it's $8,000 or 800, $8,000. It's $8,000. Is that $8,000? It's about $8,000, I think. So imagine when you can get, you know, imagine if you can get 100 people to buy it. Imagine if you can get 1,000 people to buy it. Steam's numbers were what, 240,000 people in the game at one time. Imagine if you got 25,000 people to buy it. Don't even need to be half of that number. They may not recoup in the short term. They'll recoup in the long run. But this is what you sacrifice when you do this. When you give in to things like this is what you sacrifice. One, you sacrifice a lot of time. Because if we look at each one of these parts, why does it take 18 hours? Let's look at another part. 18 hours. And let's just say that you don't get these parts all at once. Let's say you get these parts once every 2 or 3 days. So let's say we'll do an average of 3 days. All right, we'll do an average of 3 days. That's the absolute. We'll call that the absolute worst. And we'll even do an absolute best. Let's say each one of these parts take a day to actually grind out and get to drop. So you get the blueprint day 1. You get this blueprint day 2. You get this blueprint day 3. And then the code, where does the code come from? Code comes from here, right? So you'll just need to get the code, right? Cool. So the code is just by beating the hangman, right? And that drop rate might take you, let's say it takes you a day to get that. All right. So that's 4 days. That's 4 days of a grind. That's 4 days of a grind. Then let's say you got all 4 of these. At the minimum, it'll be 4 days. So at the minimum, 4 days. Because then you get all the pieces, and then you get all of them, and then you go to craft each one of them all at the same time. So they're all going to be on the 18-hour timer. So that's another damn near 24 hours that you're going to have to wait. And then that's the 5th day. Basically, that's your 5th day, getting all of these to craft. And then once you get all of those to craft on that 5th day, then you have to actually go to the Descendant themselves And then with all of the crafted pieces, you're going to need to go and craft the actual full-on Descendant, which is going to take another day and 12 hours. You're talking about upwards of a week. And that's at a minimum. At a minimum, upwards of a week. Mind you, they give you this character practically for free in the form of normal bunny in the game. And here's the nefarious part that I'm looking at here. It don't take 18 hours to craft normal bunny. Hell, we can let's see if we can find that. Yep, look at normal bunny right here. Why is research time 1 minute? And all of these don't even require research time. There's no timers on these. Why? Hell, even with Freyna, just to craft her normally is 16 hours. But anybody that's considered ultimate, and again, there's only one thing that makes the girls ultimate in the end, and that is or any of these ultimates, it's a small power bump and this power bump is basically having more capacity and things of that nature for your mods. And then the change in outfits. And the changes are egregious. Because, when you look at Glay is wearing a completely covered outfit. Big hospital, combat, like a combat medic's, top. Long dress pants, because she's wearing long dress pants. Red shirt, scarf covering up chest piece, covering up her chesticles and all that good stuff, right? Really clothed up, modest looking girl. But then you see the ultimate Glay. All of that is skin. That's cut off right there. There's all kinds of thigh, inner thigh, outer thigh, cooch line. All of that is exposed on this outfit. You don't do that for no reason, right? And again, when it comes to skins, cool. I'm cool with it. But what I'm showing you is the basis of their monetization. The basis of their monetization is to make things absurdly, not reasonably, not marginally, but absurdly redundant. Not redundant, I'm sorry. But absurdly, what's the word I was using before? Monotonous. They want to make grinds absurdly monotonous so that while it is possible to grind it, so you can't say, oh man, you made it to where there's no chance for me to get this stuff for free. Oh, there's a chance, but the monotony will be so bad that 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 are going to choose to say, fuck all that. I'm coming in here and I'm dropping bread. Because I want to walk around with my girl's ass hanging out. And I can't do that unless I grind because again, that's all you're really doing. That's all you're really doing is grinding just to see the girl's asses hanging out when you do these two ultimates. These two specifically. You're not grinding for any other reason than that. I'll admit that Ajax's ultimate gear looks pretty cool in comparison, but beyond that, you're not doing that much. And again, why must the monotonousness? Why must the monotony be that bad? After already taking the grind to an extreme, why would you then turn? And again, we're just talking about normal. For instance, I've got 2 pieces of Volby, right? I got her code. I have her code I have to go get, which is I'm gonna have to go and do the Agna Desert grind for that. And I have multiple of these, I believe. Where is it at? I have to get her stabilizer, and I think her stabilizer is actually, it's the stabilizer. It's the blueprint. That's right. and that blueprint is from the asylum, right? So I got these two, right? And I crafted these two, and I gotta get these two. Now, what's hilarious is they're gonna come out with an ultimate Volby. I know there is. There's gonna be an ultimate Volby. And I can almost bet money that ultimate Volby is going to be half naked when she comes out. Again, I got no problem with the skin. I'm a cultured man. Like, for instance, I know why they did this. Let me show you. It's in the cash shop, actually. I know exactly why they did this. Let me find that cash shop. Let me find a premium skin. Where is it? Is it? I think it's in here somewhere. It should be. It should be for Bunny. It should be for Bunny. Where is it? Where is it? I'll have to find it. But, or maybe there's somebody running around with it. But it's a skin of, for the girl, it puts a cat whiskers on you and you have heart eyes. Anybody who's ever watched hentai knows what heart eye, what having hearts in your eyeballs is a reference to. Did she got them? No, she don't have them. But they even sold those, and it's like I know what this is. Like I know what they're doing. You know, it is a blatant attempt to cash in on who they know will play this game. It's one of the reasons why, if you look at the marketing around this game, there were so many ass shots in the marketing, and we know why. We know why. You know, and while I was willing to say, yeah, the game is pretty based for sticking to its guns of having extremely sexy women, what isn't based is to think that your player base will be so idiotic as to ignore the blatant ripoff of your cash shop and have, you know, and you know, to think that the booty cheeks and the tits are gonna make, you know, that are gonna make the majority of your player base just totally forget the value of their dollars. And so what you have here is you have things like this in the shop.
Now what do you want? Go on, I'm waiting.
Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Well, actually, no. You have things like this, right?
I'm listening.
Probably things like this right here. Right? Now, I know they have made it to where some of these things are now dropping in the world. I understand that. Like, some of these things are actually dropping in the world now from elite mobs, and that's good. At least some of this is dropping in the world. I haven't seen. Okay, that's in Hagios. Okay, that's in Hagios. I think most of this stuff is in Hagios. Nope. All of this is encrypted vaults. Well, no. Okay, we're getting them. Okay, yeah. So some of these are actually crafted. Okay, okay. So everything is dropping from the mobs. Like I'm willing to concede where I can. You know, and a lot of this is just, of course, okay, yeah, you know, still getting the blueprint itself is going to be an ass to do, but like, I'm willing to concede that, okay, yeah, they're making these things possible to get outside of the encrypted vaults. But when you look at how much they charge for them in the shop, because again, the idea is to make the grind as monotonous as possible. Because again, everything is trying to push you to click this button. Everything is trying to push you to come over here, click this button, and go over here to support materials, and go over to enhancement packages, or to go over to premium enhancement packages, or to go, what is this, convenience boosters that cost ridiculous amounts for what? How many days? 7 days, 14 days, 500. Like, bruh. And in order to get that deluxe bunny out, you know, right there. Cause this ain't gonna get it. Right there. Like, and that's for all of them too. So if you wanted to get all the ultimates, you're gonna pay. And I'm sorry, the game is cool and all, but you're gonna pay 20 times the game's actual worth, damn near, just to play as 4 ultimate characters, or 5 ultimate characters, ultimate versions of the characters. Like, if you were to look at this game per value, like as its probably like total probable true market value, this game would probably only sell for $39.99 on Steam. Anything over that, people would probably say is a little too overpriced. People might deal with $49.99, but you probably wouldn't get people to go over that. But you're selling a skin for almost double that much. Because it's basically just a skin, people. It's basically just a skin. Because if this game follows the same mod style as Warframe, you can take, with the way Warframe works, even though Primes gave you a little bit of flexibility and boost in power, you could take a regular Warframe and outclass any Prime Warframe, just because the mods themselves will allow you to scale things like crazy. But then if you think about it like this, why would you spend upwards of a week trying to get one of your descendants with an activator or a catalyst? And like the catalysts, I think, go for the weapons, and the energy activators, I believe, go for the descendants. So why would you go a week, maybe upwards of a week, trying to grind one of these, just one of these, and then use it on a descendant that you would mess around and end up, let's say you get lucky and end up getting all the pieces to the prime version or the ultimate version of this, of that descendant. You basically either wasted the money getting the energy activator for the normal version of the descendant, or you wasted a week of time getting that activator and putting it on the normal descendant, because there is an ultimate version. Like, I will never put an energy activator on my normal bunny. Never. I don't care if it does like make me only peak at a certain point with her and then I can't go any further. I will never waste, simply because of how tedious they are to grind, and then the fact that you can buy them in the shop. No, I'll never use them on those. The only thing I'm using my energy activators on are going to be on ultimates, because that's the only like, look at that. We know why we're here. They know why you're here. In any case, I would never do it, because it is a waste. Because you're going to get an ultimate version of that of that of that Descendant, and you're gonna be able to push that Descendant well, with the way this game is based, well over the power of the original. So that's a waste of resource. That's a waste of time. And if you look at time as money and time as a resource, that's a waste of resources. So the monetization is extremely egregious, and it's predatory in the fact that it is a test of your time and patience, all to push you into spending money for things that, while they make it possible to get in game, what they really want you to do is spend money to make this stuff go by faster, because monotony is one of the things that can drive a person crazy. Like it can drive you out of your mind. So we get it. Now, what really should have been done, if you ask me, well, all this complaining you're doing about it, then what is your quote unquote solution to this problem? My solution to this problem is, one, no drop rate should be less than 35 to 40%. No drop rate in the game should be less than 35 to 45% chance. The lowest your drop rate should ever be is 35%. Second, all ultimates, right? All ultimates, fine. You can buy the ultimates in the cash shop. But all ultimates should be no more than $40. All ultimates should be $40. No, absolutely no activators, catalysts, shit like that should be sold on the cash shop. All of it should be grinded. And if you're going, and whatever materials you are going to sell in the cash shop, the drop rates for them in the game should be no less than 50%. Because if you're going to make it easy for people to buy them, you better make it easier for me to grind them. Don't try and manipulate me into buying something. We're Americans. We know what capitalism is all about. You don't have to manipulate me into buying something. I understand the idea of services rendered, payment for services rendered. I understand that concept. You don't have to try and trick me into doing it. And when you try to trick me into doing it, you make me no longer believe in why I'm buying your product, because you're showing me you don't believe in the product. You see, that's what this cash shop shows me. This cash shop shows me that Nexon does not have any real confidence in the game they created. They're not looking at their game and saying, we created this piece of art that's awe-inspiring and we believe people are going to love it when they see it. No. Why is there more in the cash shop than there is in the actual game? Why can I earn more cosmetics in the cash shop than I can earn playing the game? Why is my customization? Mind you, you claim this Nexon claimed that their biggest inspirations were Warframe and Destiny. They openly say that. Well, in Destiny and in Warframe, you have a hell of a lot more customization given to you in the game for free. If you want to make people pay for the thousands of skins, fine. Make people pay for the hundreds of skins. But this is what I always say. This is my rule. For every one skin in the cash shop, for every 2 skins in the cash shop, there needs to be 1 skin in the game earnable. That's the way I see it. If you're gonna put 2 skins in the cash shop, give me 1 to earn in the game. And don't just give it to me. Make me earn it. But let it be something I can earn in the game. For every 2 skins, give me 1. For every 2 I have to buy, give me 1 I can earn. You know? And this whole convoluted system of having to get a skin in order to recolor a gun, you have to first get a skin for the gun in order to recolor it. Like, all of that is, again, it's all monotonous. It's monotonous. It's unnecessary monotony. And it's all meant to push me toward a cash shop. And when you do that and you make it as blatant as this game has made it, you make me question the third pillar. What is the purpose behind this game? Why did you make it? Did you truly feel like, did you truly wake up one morning all inspired by Destiny and Warframe's character design and world design and things of that nature and say, you know what? We want to make a game that pays homage to Warframe and Destiny's legacy. We want to make a game that pays homage to those 2 games. Or did you say, or did you mean your statement of, you know, we were highly inspired by Destiny and Warframe? When you said that statement, did you mean it because you wanted to pay homage? Or did you mean it because we were inspired by the fact that Warframe and Destiny are also cash grabs? They're just very well made cash grabs. Like, we were impressed by how much money people were spending in those 2 games. Is that what you were inspired by? The amount of profit those games were capable of making? And if that was your purpose, because again, the monetization in this game truly does push the needle away from artistic design to profit purpose, to a purpose of profit, and only that. To the point to where you have Destiny 2 developers calling you out for reusing their assets. I mean, let's be honest. Look at the character on my screen right now, Sharon. She's nothing but a tweaked version of Master Raven from Tekken. You play Tekken 7 and 8, you know who Master Raven is. And if you don't know her, look her up. Master Raven. She is a tweaked version of Master Raven. Dreadlocks and all. She's a tweaked version of that character. And many of these characters in you know, either their looks or their powers are highly tweaked. Like, for instance, Freyna's I'll show you. It's better that I just show it to you in terms of like what it does.
Vulgus can't see me.
Freyna's passive increases her toxin damage by the number of enemies inflicted with poison. That's literally Saren's from Warframe. That's literally Saren's 2. Her second ability. Her second ability, Spores. That's literally what her spores do. The damage multiplies. I mean, her passive works the same way. You know, as the damage as more enemies get afflicted, the damage multiplies as her toxicity thing goes up. It's literally Saren. You know, and instead of her having molt, she has like a toxic shield on her body, things like that. Like, it's literally Saren. But what I'm trying to say here is you can take inspiration. I have no problems with this game taking inspiration. What I have a problem with is it's hard to see it as inspiration when the monetization is so egregious that all of a sudden all of these different elements don't seem to be elements taken because you found yourself artistically moved. they seem to be taken because it's easier to slap together a bunch of things already made by other people and then slapping a dollar sign behind almost 60 to 65% of the content that could have been in the game as actual content. Because again, now everybody's like hungry for content because all you really have is the base story and then hard mode. And it's like, there's so much you could have done with all of that shit in the cash shop that you could have made content around. You could have made actual content in the game around half the stuff in the cash shop. You really could have. And so it does start to look like nothing but thievery. Monetized thievery. That's what it begins to look like. Because so many assets are small, are basically rips and small tweaks, from other games, arguably better games. And then so much of that you take is monetized behind a paywall that at the end of the day, you could have just put that in the game as content. You could have if you took half of what's in the cash shop and made it content. Like for instance, like some of the skins in the cash shop, if you put those behind certain challenges and rewards, like really things that would have tested your skill in the game and things of that nature. You could have made more missions just for those things. Like, you could have made more missions or more, you could have made more grinds behind those things. You would have had, if you would have just took like a quarter of that stuff in the cash shop and actually implemented it into the game as rewards, you would have been able to make almost another half of a total game on top of what you released already. And that could have been your first give to people. And again, I've got like over 3K hours in Warframe. I've got over 2K hours in Destiny. I know what a looter shooter is all about. The looter shooter is all about getting in there and doing the grind. True. But Destiny, even with the problems I have with Destiny and with Warframe, their grinds are not this monotonous. They aren't. And that's why I believe this game is a decent game buried under the weight of greed. It's buried under the weight of greed. And it's the reason why I wanted to have this conversation first before I started the tutorials. Because the game is good enough to be played. I'm not going to sit here and say that the game should not be played. The game is good enough to be played. They made a game decent enough to play. It's a game that I have fun with when I'm playing with Snake and stuff like that. Man, we've been having fun playing this game. But I would be irresponsible as a person with a platform, even if I only got like 99 subscribers. I don't give a fuck. I'm a person with a platform of some sort. And I would feel irresponsible as a person with a platform to sit here and be like, oh, this game is cool. When I know that there's morally dubious shit that you just can't ignore about this game. And while they have, and I'll admit, Nexon has been making some concessions, like again, making the items from the encrypted votes actually drop from the elite mobs from around the world. That was a concession, and that was something that I honestly wasn't expecting from them. But one concession doesn't wipe clean the long list of scummy shit that this game has going behind the scenes. Again, 20% drop rates. No matter how cut and dry you want to make it, drop rates should be higher than that. They should be higher than that. Not egregiously higher than that, but they should be 30, 35. Because again, I don't care how much grind you would consider. I don't care how much people love to hide behind the title. It's a looter shooter. You're meant to grind. I don't give a fuck if you're meant to grind. What I give a fuck about is how much of this grind are you actually making me, like, if we're talking about a week's time to play as a single character, no. I have a limited time on this green earth. And my hobby of choice, when it comes to spending time that I have, what little time I have free in this life, is gaming. And I do not want my games to say to me, well, since you're just sitting down having having leisure time, how about we just take a week of it? No. Just to play as a single character? No. Give me a day's grind. Alright, cool. It take me about a day to farm all the parts. So, if I want to play as another character and it's Tuesday, I might not be able to play her until Wednesday. Cool. Because it took me all of Tuesday to grind her out. Fine. To me, that's a grind. If you have to spend 8, 9, 10 hours to get one character, that's a grind, bruh. That's a grind. You know how much you can do in 10 hours doing anything else? You can clean your entire damn house in 10 hours. Nah, man. The word grind doesn't mean waste my time. The word grind means work for something. And if you're willing to work for it, the reward will be there. Because that's the idea. That's what grind is supposed to simulate. The grind is supposed to simulate you working hard for something and getting it. But this isn't a paycheck, motherfucker. Why am I waiting a week? It's not like you about to pay me $300-$400 so I can go pay my rent. So no, it's not the same. It's just a fucking digital character. Why must I wait a week? Or why must I grind for 4 or 5 days? Nah, it's monotonous. And it's monotonous for a reason. It's not like the Dales just rolled the dice and was like, oh, landed on 3-4 days. Or how long should we make them wait to craft a Descendant? Let's roll this dice. 16 hours. No. The devs understood. They gonna look at that timer saying 16 hours, and they gonna say in their head, man, fuck that. I'll just go buy her. They gonna look at that timer and say 1 day, 12 hours for the ultimates, and they gonna say, fuck that, I'll just go buy her. And then once we force them to the cash shop, we're gonna make them spend more money than the price of Elden Ring for a skin. That's all I got to say on the matter. At the end of the day, guys, you now know my stance. I've made my statements. I've made my stances. If you made it this far, thank you for watching the entirety of this. At the end of the day, I am at a point to where answering that final question of that final pillar, what is this game's purpose? I am at a point where, while I am not fully on the side of this game was made purely for profit, I am leaning towards that. And as they begin to make concessions, and as they begin to listen to the fan base's complaints, and as they begin to actually change some of this stuff, I am slowly bending that needle back towards maybe they do want this game to be respected as an actual fucking game and not just a soulless cash grab full of stolen assets. We'll see. But I wanted to get this out of the way now because my tutorials from here on out, my tutorials will be based upon a person who refuses to touch the cash shop. Absolutely refuses to touch the cash shop. Because I absolutely refuse to touch the cash shop with the game being in this state. Both monetarily wise, and because the game, for a $5,000 computer, I shouldn't have to keep pressing the play button on this game 5-10 times just to get in the goddamn game. Like, I don't know whether it's easy anti-cheat that's doing it or whatever, but they have got some more optimization before I even think about wanting to buy skins or anything like that. And they've got to give me more of a game before I think about spending my money here. I need more of a game. I need more of a game. You got to give me more of what you made. You can't just come out with a skeleton of a game and then say pay for the rest. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Because if I pay for the rest, I want to pay more than what a full game is worth. Because one skin is worth, to you, one skin is worth more than an entirety of a game. And not just any game. It's worth more than one of the greatest games made of our modern era, Elden Ring. Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. Anybody who paid for that bunny skin, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You were smart to dodge the grind, but you were a complete fool to let them prey on your inability to be patient and for your predisposition for acting impulsively. You were a fool for letting them do that to you. In any case, guys, be on the lookout for the new tutorials coming up soon. Amon-Rellik the Godslayer, Amon-Rellik Gaming. I'm out of here.